I'm Matt Marvolio, Dean of the Professional Performance Division at Berklee College of Music. Welcome to When Music Works. Today our featured artist and faculty member is Rick Peckham. Rick is the Assistant Chair of the Guitar Department. Today he's going to talk to us about modal voicing techniques. Let's go see what Rick is up to. Hey Rick, how are you doing?
Okay, Matt, how are you?
I'm pretty well. Our lesson today is about modal voicing technique.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit of what you think we need to know to really get the most out of the lesson.
Well, it's probably best for guitarists that have a basic knowledge of seventh chords and some basic scales like major scale and Dorian scale.
Mm-hmm.
If you have those two things together, you're in pretty good shape.
Is that rare for a guitarist to have those things together?
I'm hoping it's not that rare because I hope a lot of people get something out of this.
Mm-hmm. How are modal voicings different from, say, tonal voicings? Or can you just discuss a little bit about modality versus tonality?
Well, if chords move quickly, it's if you have a new chord every 2 beats or so, it's important to play the root, third, fifth, and seventh of the chord.
So you're worried about chord function. You're trying to determine chord function when you're doing that.
That's right. But if you have 4 or more bars in a single tonality, if all the chords can be harmonically generalized as being in one tonal center, then that's when you can go modal and get some interesting sounds that way.
So when you go modal, you actually hear a certain type of maybe major or minor that's different from, say, a tonal setting like Dorian or Phrygian or Aeolian are considered, say, the minor modes, where Lydian and Mixolydian are considered the major modes along with Ionian.
Yep, that's a great way of looking at it. Many times chords, tunes go to different tonal areas, so it doesn't always work on every type of tune, but in songs like impressions or songs that just stay in one tonality for a long period of time, you'll be able to use modal voicings.
Right. And I guess the reason why you would want to use a modal voicing is to create some kind of tension and release over a period of time, because that's what you would want to emphasize.
Yeah, if you want to have musical balance, if you want to make it sound interesting and to have motion in it rather than just playing the same chord over and over again, what great players in this style have done is they've found ways of putting interest in.
How did you come up with this system of creating these voicings? Is it just serendipity, fooling around with it, listening to different people? Or?
Well, I really I play in a lot of groups that have a horn player in it and no pianists. And I'm trying to fill up as much of the room harmonically and sound-wise as a piano player would, so that naturally led me to great pianists in contemporary styles like McCoy Tyner, Bill Evans, and this led me to try to realize these sounds on the guitar.
Can horn players actually employ this technique, or do you use this as a linear soloing technique as well?
Well, sometimes I'm trying to arpeggiate these sounds, the ones that are going to be covered here. It also could help horn players, I think, as far as finding ways to communicate to a guitarist or a pianist the type of sounds they're looking for.
How about rhythmically? Do you play modal voicings differently when you comp than you would over a period of time playing a tonal tune or whatever? Is there certain kinds of rhythmic gestures that go along with the voicing?
Yeah, I would say the rhythmic vocabulary is pretty much the same. The thing is to have an interesting flow to make it so that the soloist is kind of on a magic carpet ride, trying to make it so they want to play more and go someplace different, just keep things moving ahead. So, and the best place to get comping rhythms, I've found, other than listening to great players that already do it, is to play right from the center of the drum set. I mean, really listen to the kind of comping patterns that are coming from what's usually the left hand of the drummer. I mean, there's the ride pattern in the right hand, and frequently the pulse is outlined by 2 and 4 on the hi-hat, but the left hand is ta-ta-do, ta-ta-do, ta-ta, like this sort of thing that's going on with the left hand. These are the same types of rhythms that I try to bring out in comping.
So it's all about hooking up, depending upon what the other people in the band are doing.
That's true. The drummer is the central switchboard of the band, and you got to play right into the center of whoever's playing the drums. Or, I mean, if you're playing without drums, as I am on this tape, you got to simulate that kind of energy and drive.
Do you ever practice with play-along drums as well as just like with with a bass line or whatever?
I do. They've got some loops, especially groove loops, some things that go with that are used for beats for funk or jam band sort of things, and I just play over the top of that. Or James Brown records, I try to play over isolated drum parts and try to get that same kind of feeling and drive in my playing.
Great. Well, let's get started. Let's check this out.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. I should probably introduce my accompanist first. This is my sampler. I guess we'll call him Loopy. Anyway, there are a lot of samplers that are around now, and I use recordings of myself all the time when I'm practicing. I'm sure there'll continue to be more and more of these type of things that people can use. But whenever I'm practicing, I try to have some kind of accompaniment so that I'm playing in time with something else rather than just by myself. I want to talk to you about integrating some modal voicings in your playing. This first tune is a very slow-moving tune harmonically. So for there to be musical balance, you really have to add complexity as a player yourself. If a song is already complicated with lots of fast-moving chords, it's important at that point to just do your best to follow the tune around. A tune like this first tune is very simple harmonically, comparatively, so for there to be musical balance, you really have to add some of the complexity yourself. The slow-moving harmonic rhythm, it gives you a chance to explore the chords of the moment for a long period of time, for actually 16 bars, and then 8 bars, and then 8 bars. I'd just like to take a second to talk about the detail on this Modal Voicings page, the Dorian page. The numbers in circles refer to the guitar strings, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th strings, the middle 4. These chord blocks refer to the guitar neck, sort of from above. The 1st string is on the far right side, and the 6th string is on the left. Down here on the bottom, to totally surround it notation-wise, we got the tablature as well. The 1st string is represented on the top line, and the 6th string is represented on the bottom. So this voicing is on the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, in the middle 4 strings. I hope this helps you to put these voicings under your fingers. I'm I'm going to be talking a lot about voicings and content of voicings in today's lesson. But one thing I want to emphasize first of all is the importance of form and bringing out the form in your playing. It's pretty easy to get microscopic with voicings and not think about what the overall job of playing chords in a band is. The AABA form, each 8 bars apiece, these are sort of like signposts, beat 1 of the double bar. So when I talk to people about playing and comping well, I talk to them about bringing out the double bars clearly, making it so that it's very clear that you're in bar 9. I mean that you're setting up bar 9 and then coming down strong. The ways to do that are to play it right on 1 with a very consonant voicing, and we'll talk some about that later in the lesson. If you look in your printed materials at the Dorian and Force pages, there are 2 of them. Let's start with the first one. I'm going to just play with a D minor from my friend here. I hope that's what comes out. Yeah. All right, I'm going to play these as half notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going up the C major scale, up the middle 4 strings, and the voicings are in 4ths. This is a lot different than just playing the D minor 7. You're really exploring the tonality more. You've got more of the parent scale, the major scale, the diatonic major scale. Let me mix up the rhythm a little bit here, putting each one of these on the upbeat. So instead of playing it on 1 and 3, I'm going to play it on the and of 1 and the and of 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another way to practice it is to play 1 bar of each of these chords and practice putting it on different places of the bar. There are 8 eighth notes in the bar. You can practice playing a voicing on the and of 1, or on 1, on the and of 1, on 2, on the and of 2, on 3, on the and of 3, on 4, on the and of 4. I really like to look at a bar of 4/4 as sort of a little forest of eighth notes, and you can bring out any one of those eighth notes in comping, and it can sound very good. Let's listen to it. Let's do it on the and of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. This might be a review for you, but let's take a look at the first 4 strings and play the same voicings all the way up. This one starts with D in the bass and F on top. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You may want to spread those out for a full bar apiece too. Let's play this example, putting everything on the and of 3, and let's make the articulation short. So it can be a long articulation or a short articulation. So for each bar, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to practice that. So let's do that. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The notes that I'm using for this bass line, I should say, are actually from are all notes also from the C major scale. So I'm walking quarter notes, and that's what I put into this little looper that keeps track of this stuff, so that it goes around in a quantized 4/4 pattern. Let's look at the second page of these modal voicings. The people that know this other stuff from the first page frequently play right up the neck on the single set of 4 strings. You know, maybe the middle 4 strings, or maybe even the bottom 4 strings, or the top 4 strings, but never the twain meet. So I did this adaptation of this material to make it so you've got a chance to practice switching the strings around. So if you learn the stuff on page 1 well, you'll really be able to dig in on the stuff on page 2. Let's do this. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same deal with making these into whole notes, or the 1 bar apiece, I mean. And you can put it on any of the 8th notes. Let's do it on the and of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Short now. So that included a couple ways of practicing that. Let me go back over here. The standard modal tune, it's possible to mix things up from these 2 pages and playing on this. You'll notice that the bridge, though, it goes up a half step. As the changes get more complex, I mean, this is the only harmonic complexity of this tune when it goes up to E flat minor. That's a time to really be right on the beat, to help the listener and the other players in the band to know right where they are. When you practice these modal voicings, you should also practice them up a half step, so that you'll know what to do at this place. But really, on the guitar, transposing up a half step is a lot easier than on a lot of instruments. So instead of starting on this fret, on the 2nd fret, it's just 1/2 step up. So nobody really feels sorry for guitarists when it comes to going up a half step. Let's I'm in bar 4 now, bar 5. Here's the E flat. those are some ways to comp on that tune. Okay, let me just play the notes of Dorian here over another vamp. So this is the root, which is pretty stable, and there's no tension there. Whenever I'm trying to have a release of the tension, I've got it right there. The ninth is kind of in between. It feels stable in a way, but it doesn't feel as stable as the third, the flatted third. Here's the fourth. This again doesn't feel as stable as the root or the flat third, but it doesn't cry out for resolution. The fifth, those are the notes that are stable, these are less stable. Now we're coming to the most unstable of them all, the natural 13th. That needs to either go up or down. The flat 7 is pretty stable, and then we're back to the root again. When I'm comping on a tune like the standard progression that I'm using, the cadence points, the points at the beginning of the A sections or on the B sections, really cry out for one of these really strong, stable chords. This, with a set of strings, it actually turns out that this has the root on the bottom and the flatted third on top, so it really brings out the sound real strong. Let me give it. This one is less stable. This one is more stable. So we've got the root and the flat third on the bottom. I like to look at them from the bottom. Now we come to this voicing. And this is the most unstable of them all again. So there's kind of a beauty. I mean, it's really my favorite one. But it does call out for resolution. Here's the flat 7. And here's the root on top. So we've got flat 7 on top and then the root on top. This next one that we're coming to is very unstable sounding as well, because it brings out the tritone between the flatted third and the natural 6th of the chord. And then finally we're back to the root on the bottom. So, unstable and stable. Unstable, stable. Which brings us to the next topic here, and that's putting chromatic embellishment, using the top note as a pedal point. This voicing, sort of an F triad over G, is a good home, a nice Dorian sound to use as home. Anyway, I want to keep this top note the same. Let me get the chords going again here. And keep the top notes the same, the top note the same, and then move the bottom 3 notes down in half steps. So So instead of doing the traditional thing of keeping one of the notes the same and moving the other three, it's a way of making it sound less like a guitar and more like something that's that involves voicings you'd want to hear, I guess. All right, so let's take a look down at this bottom line. Chromatic embellishment: use the top note as the pedal point and move bottom three voices chromatically in parallel. And that's doing exactly what I was just doing. Here's the original, this voicing. Now I'm keeping the top note the same. You see the A there, and the F flat, C flat, and G flat. And this, the third one. All the bottom three notes are all down. So, again. Moving on to the next one. The bottom three notes are all a half step up from the original, and then we're back to the original. So here's this bottom line again. Let's do it on the and of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chromatic embellishment is it's kind of like spice. I mean, it's you might like salsa, but you don't put it on everything. You don't put it on your cornflakes. So the chromatic embellishment you should really use kind of sparingly because there's already a lot of tension and release built into the scale, as we've already talked about. One less spicy type of embellishment is this diatonic embellishment that I have on this page right here. The original voice, the original voicing, is the one on the second or the third fret, G, D, A, E. I'm going to move the bottom three notes down one step within the scale. So that gives me G, C, G, and D. And this next voicing has the bottom voicing, the bottom three notes one step up, and then back to the original. This gives an entirely different feel than the other. Here's the original, 2, 3, 4. So that gets that idea across. Let's try the voicing we were playing a minute ago and move those voices diatonically. This is another way to get some motion going. So you can see that the top note stays the same. It's one of these kind of polar centers here. You can use this, and then you can use these as a source for material to use the top voice as a pedal point, and then move the bottom voices in different places as a means of getting tension and release. This will work great on modal tunes and other tunes as well, actually, as you get more into them. I heard it said one time that playing well isn't a matter of knowing a lot of different things. It's knowing how to use a few things in a lot of different ways. The good news is all this time that we've been logging in on D minor, all of those voicings will work great for G7 or especially G7 sus 4. Usually when you hear or you see a guitarist that knows the stuff that we've been doing, they'll only use it on minor stuff. All of this material works great on G7. Let's take a look at this sheet where I've got it analyzed. G7 sus, if you take the D minor 6 pentatonic, this flat third of D minor is also the flat 7 of G7 sus. The G, the fourth of D minor, is the root. The A is the ninth, the B is the third, and the D is the fifth. So I've got a little G7 vamp in here. Now let me put some of the chromaticism in there. Let me put some diatonic embellishment, as we saw. And that's going to come in handy on our next tune. We only have one more voicing to go, and then we'll be ready to go into the second tune that I have. Okay, let's take what we've learned and apply it to altered dominant seventh chords. A lot of guitarists know this one. That E7 sharp 9, well, let's move it down two frets. D7 altered. And I've just put an A flat on top there. Anyway, this dominant 7 altered sound is pretty popular because it's about as dark as you can get on a dominant 7th chord. The scale, the chord scale that goes with this is E flat melodic minor. A lot of times it's called the D altered scale. Here are the notes of E flat melodic minor. I'll play it for you. E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D, and E flat. The way I have it written here, actually, is so that it relates to the chord. Here's our friend E flat, but we're starting with D because it's the root of the D7 altered. So the root, E flat, is the flat 9, root, flat 9, the sharp 9, then the natural third, it would be a G flat, but I put it in enharmonically so it'll fit with the chord. That's the F sharp. Flat 5 is A flat, sharp 5 is A sharp, and then the flat 7 is the C. So let's go down to the next thing. The D altered scale containing the same notes as E flat melodic minor from F. Again, I'm trying to stick this on the first string. And here it is on the first string. We're gonna go to another minor 6 pentatonic. This is a minor 6 pentatonic, a minor third above F minor 6, because it's about to generate a lot of beautiful voicing. So you got to hang with me on that. D7 altered, you go up a minor third, so you got F minor 6 pentatonic. So let me just, I've got this. Here's F minor 6 pentatonic. I picked F minor 6 because it's got the most beautiful notes for the D7 altered. You got the sharp 9, the F, the A flat is the flat 5, the A sharp, the sharp 5, and the C is the flat 7. And oh yeah, the root, that happens as well. So let's jump on down to where we get into some voicings now. This voicing that I've already described for you. This is on the if you get a look at my hand here, it's the voicing I was just talking about. You play it on the in the 4th position on the neck with the 2nd finger on the D, 1st finger on F sharp, 3rd finger on C, and the 4th finger on F. The next set of notes, again drawn from E flat melodic minor, but using notes from F minor 6 pentatonic on the top. we've got this sound. It's all fourths from A flat going down. Then from the top, A sharp, F natural, C, and F sharp. And then a couple of major triads with a note a whole step above as a bass note. An A flat triad over B flat, and then B flat over C. I've written in an analysis of each one of these notes so you can just see how they all relate. So let me play that over the bass line. You can also extend the octave where these things happen. So that's an interesting set of sounds to use when you've got an altered dominant seventh chord. Now I'd like to take this voicing and put it into a tune, and that'll give us enough vocabulary to get through pretty much any modal situation on a blues. Okay? So let's take what we've learned, add a little bit to it, and put it into a tune, this G blues in 6/4. This is a 12-bar form. Each bar is six beats in length. This the first 4 bars are on a G7 sus4. Bars 5 and 6, those are the ones that are going to give us a little bit of trouble in a second. Go up to C7 sus4. Then we're back home for 2 bars at G7 sus4. Then we get to use some of our new altered voicings in bars 9 and 10, and then we're back home again. So let's go to the point of controversy here, the C7 sus4. Well, the answer is already written there. You can use voicings for G Dorian or G minor 6 pentatonic. So let's just go through quickly what those would be. If you take the sheet that you have from earlier with the modal voicings and just take everything that's a B natural and move it down to B flat, that'll give you the F major tonality, which coincidentally is all of the material for G Dorian. So let me just go up the neck with this for a second here. This is the first one. We learned it this way, the first chord with the D on the top and the B on the bottom. I'm going to move it down to B flat. And now the second voicing, the third voicing. So that gives us that sound. I will try also to play for you the this is the minor 6 pentatonic, the G minor 6 pentatonic. It's all fourths from the root, all fourths from the flatted third, all fourths from the fourth, and then 5 and 6. These are 2 triads, the so what triads. So that'll set us up for bars 5 and 6. So I'm going to try to put together all the voicings we've done now, and hopefully you'll be able to do it too. Here we go. There's bar 2. G minor 6 pentatonic. Back to the D minor 6 pentatonic. The D7. Back home for the G7 sus4. So let me do that again. G7. the G minor 6. The D altered. Little chromatic embellishment. You may have noticed I was using a lot of chromaticism all the way through the form, but the one place that I stayed really close to the original voicings was right here, in the D7 altered. It's already harmonically very tense, so it really doesn't. It's out of balance to put more tension there. It's enough to put that there and leave it with that without chromatic embellishment. And it reminds me of something that I heard said that if music sounds good, no explanation is necessary, and if music sounds bad, no explanation will help. So let your ear be your guide. I mean, I hope you can use all of this material that I've given you, but really listen to yourself playing it, and before you spring it on an audience, make it so that it makes musical sense in what you're already playing and adding to it. And so I guess that's it for me, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, Rick, so does your accompanist work for scale, or is it, a little loopy there? You're working him pretty hard through the whole...
He always shows up, yeah, and all you got to do is just plug him in, that's it.
Doesn't complain about taking the break or anything like that,
It's a great relationship we have.
Well, we know what Loopy's role is in the band. How about your role as an accompanist? What words of wisdom would you have that an accompanist should try to do in terms of supporting the band and doing things?
Well, to me, the role of the comper is to just sort of complete the rhythm section. There's the time is coming from the drums. I mean, it's most clearly delineated, and the bass player is outlining the beat and the harmony. The comper is in there just to really to help get the chords across and make the soloist so they're comfortable, and helps them get some ideas, helps to see that their ideas are reacted to, and it helps the listener to enjoy all the color of the song that's being played.
And what would you practice? I noticed that you are saying, let's play off of 1, let's play off of 2, off of 3. Would you practice different kinds of comping patterns?
Yeah, definitely. As I talked about earlier in the video, to make sure that the player is comfortable playing off of the on beat 1, off of the end of 1, making it so any of the 8 eighth notes, so that they're comfortable with hitting any of those, and practice with that, thinking of that grid, using either the chords and scales the way I have them in the exercises, or just in practicing voicings in general. A lot of the language of jazz is in eighth notes, and the styles of music that came off of jazz, including pop and blues, all of them use eighth notes as a basic vocabulary too. So if you're not comfortable with eighth notes, you're not going to be sounding comfortable to the band, and you're not going to be helping it feel better.
Is there a method that you use to construct your modal voicings? You showed us a number of different kinds of voicings. Are there different kinds of categories?
Most guitarists are using voicings that either are drop 2s or drop 3s, the way they're called at Berklee anyway.
Could you explain to us a little bit of what a drop 2 or a drop 3 would be?
Sure. You take the scale as it's spelled in music theory, And let's say that it's the one that gets a lot of play in this video, D, F, A, C.
That's bottom up.
Yep, from the bottom up, D, F, A, C, and you take the A.
That's the second.
Yeah, that's right. The second from the top, and you take it down.
So you're dropping the second note of the voicing an octave lower. So if you put your fingers up there again and you have the same thing, the drop 3 would be dropping this one.
That's right. So the F would go down. This would help you show this is the way that a typical voicing, as it's spelled in music theory, will fit under a guitarist's hand without putting him in a chiropractor's office.
Right. And that's pretty functional too, where that's like the basic chord sound.
Yeah, that's right. It's something that is used in arranging and piano voicings as well.
But then there seems to be a non-functional way where you're building voicings with intervals. We have the fourths and sometimes seconds or fifths, and that seems to be more for the color or getting an unstable sound, where you're not really concerned about getting the functional sound of the chord, but coloring the modal type of voicing almost.
That's right. Having thirds and fifths built into the voicing really gives it a strong identity. The idea of modal voicings has kind of built into it a kind of vagary there that doesn't really have a strong, doesn't indicate in a strong way what the root of the voicing is or what the root of the tonality is.
And there seemed to be another technique where you used a chord substitution, where you were talking about the G7 sus4 and how you could use D minor 7 over the G7 sus4, so you're really playing a different chord over top of it, where it's somewhat of the upper structure of the G7 sus4, right?
That's right.
Where the D minor 7 would be actually D, F, A, C. On G7 it would be the 5th, the flatted 7th, the 9th, and the 11th.
That's right. As I said in there, it's if you can find different ways of using what you know, you're really building out from what you already know rather than learning a lot of different individual things.
So you can really manipulate your theory in a lot of different modalities.
That's right, yeah. There should be a lot of applications for everything that you learn that involves the major scale, melodic minor, harmonic minor, the diminished and whole tone scales. All of those really blossom. The more you learn, the more you find out that you know when you're playing those things.
How would you practice? How do you practice? Do you sit and go through a number of different tunes? Do you practice, a couple of hours a day, a million hours a day? What do you do?
Well, I try to practice as much as I can. I put in time every day on it. The type of things I practice now are different than the type of things that I was working on as I was coming up.
How about with modal voicings?
Well, with modal voicings, again, I try to make it so there's some kind of backing, either a drum machine or a metronome or a pre-recorded bass line that I put in with a looping machine or something to make it so it's in context. And I try to make it so that I know it in the abstract, and I also know it in a practical tune to make it so it's in there. Also try to mix up the keys. Everybody's supposed to take everything into 12 keys, but to me, I really need it. I try to make it so there's a practical necessity involved. So
like a gig or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
right, like a gig, right? Something I haven't practiced enough, and I try to get going on that and try to apply it to something so it'll be under my fingers, not something in the abstract. So I'll work on something that seems abstract and put it into a practical context. And then I'll just start using it. And then I find out on the gig whether I was able to use it. And if I wasn't, I got to go back and into the shed and make it so that it does fall under my fingers naturally, and in a way I can use it in real playing situations.
Do you have any other hints for us about just playing or playing in a band or, as an accompanist, things you should do?
Well, it's... a lot of people, when they're playing, they're thinking about their solo that's coming up. They're not interested in the accompanimental role, but really, some of the most rewarding experiences I've had musically have been ones where I've been helping others to play at or above the level they are.
So really being that support, so you can really add to what's going on, so they can soar a little more. Huh?
Yeah. Well, it's good players sound good, great players make the band sound great.
Yeah.
And if you do that enough, I've found it gives you more opportunities to play with stronger and better players. And it's not just about you by yourself, but it's you in the group. Don't underestimate the power of working on your accompaniment.
Mm-hmm. So spend a lot of time, rather than just playing solos all the time practicing, actually practice accompanying and doing it.
Yeah, practice accompanying. Find recordings that maybe have the make it so that you can either mix out the chords on it, so you can practice playing with that, or there are a lot of great recordings that just have bass and drums and a horn player, and practice playing along with those to get ready for those situations. And if you can get that going in your playing, you'll find your musical opportunities will be at a higher level.
Great. Well, thank you very much. It was really nice having you.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Take care.
Yeah.